At the start of the year, New Zealand troops were deployed in Afghanistan, Israel, Egypt, South Lebanon, South Sudan, South Korea, and southest of all, Antarctica. Yes, New Zealand troops were deployed to Antarctica. One might say the wild card of New Zealand military deployment. I think it's a good call, New Zealand Defence Force. I've seen the way those penguins look at people. You keep your eye on those crested bastards. Especially the macaronis, which is a real type of penguin. We're watching you, macaronis. You pasta-named fancy feathered motherfuckers. You're no rockhopper macaronis, and you never will be! The rockhopper is also a type of penguin. Even more dangerous than the macaronis, however, is a group of people. Some in Iraq thought things couldn't get any worse. Surprise, it's ISIS. ISIS has been in the news a lot, and most of us still don't understand them. But let me explain. They're called ISIS, or ISIL, or the Islamic State. They don't represent Islam, and they're not a state. Couldn't be simpler. The head of ISIS is Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. And I'm not 100% sure that I pronounced that correctly, so I'll just quickly double check with our Prime Minister.
Look, I'll get it wrong if I actually name his name. It's Algeria or something, but whatever. But yeah.
Okay, I did get it wrong. It's actually Algeria something, but whatever. But yeah. It's my bad. Good stuff, John. Basically, ISIS grew out of Al-Qaeda in Iraq. ISIS had to change their name, and this is totally true, because Al-Qaeda thought that ISIS was damaging to the Al-Qaeda brand. That's pretty bad. ISIS then spread from Iraq into Syria, where they hijacked the rebellion against this dude, who was born Bashar al-Assad, but who is now called that fucker. Fair enough. ISIS was responsible for over 4,000 Iraqi civilian deaths in 2014. That's 4,000 murders in a year. In order to help you try and cope with that number, imagine all the seats in Eden Park, and then never think of ISIS ever again. So ISIS is a group of broken human beings, and the question is, what should we do about them? And if you'd like to answer that question, you're too late. John Key's already sending our troops, our parliament did not vote on it, and they left the week before last. Now I know what you're thinking. Will this detract from our mission against our one true enemy, the macaronis? And I can't promise you that it won't. We're sending 143 people into Iraq. That's more people per capita than any other country. And there's a lot of macaronis. That's just one picture. That's not all of them. And even though invading Iraq is kind of just a tradition for the Americans, like a 4th of July where all the fireworks are made out of sadness, invading Iraq's kind of a big deal for New Zealand. A lot of Kiwis weren't thrilled about it, so John Key chose to respond to those people as calmly and maturely as he could.
Get some guts!
Thank you, John. Russell Norman, Green co-leader and man with colon attached directly to his stomach due to lack of guts, thinks we should try something new, considering the Americans have already failed in Iraq twice in my lifetime, and I'm a child.
The Defence Science Board reported to Rumsfeld Julie in September 2004, and this is what they said, and I quote, "American direct intervention in the Muslim world has paradoxically elevated the stature of and support for radical Islamists."
And that is true. That is the major cause of ISIS. But knowing the cause of something doesn't make it magically vanish, Russell. I know why TV3 made The Bachelor, but they're still going to make another season. They're still going to do it, Russell. Look, military action might seem necessary to stop ISIS, but military action will only lay the groundwork for the next ISIS. America in Iraq is like Mickey Mouse and Fantasia. To begin with, there was one broomstick, and then Mickey chopped up the broomstick, and he was like, "Hey guys, don't worry, I totally took care of that broomstick." And then all the little bits of broomsticks became new broomsticks, and then Mickey was freaking out, and there were heaps of broomsticks, and Mickey doesn't negotiate with terrorists. And sure, maybe that metaphor didn't make any sense. But the important point is, the American strategy in Iraq hasn't worked. So the one person we can rule out listening to is President Barack Obama.
If we were to make some strategic investments in countries that really could use our help, we would then not have to deploy our military as often. We would be in a better position to work with other countries to stamp out violent extremism.
Fuck you, Obama, that made perfect sense. Look, ISIS is just one group, representing an ongoing hatred that won't be eliminated through gunfire alone. We've got to invest in the Iraqi education system and training for the Iraqi government so that the Iraqi people can be empowered by education and a functioning civil service, but not the macaronis! They are godless killers, and they must be stopped. A serious investment in infrastructure won't stop ISIS, but it will prevent whatever's coming after them. Unfortunately, that sort of investment requires a lot of money in foreign aid from our government and others, and it turns out that taxpayers don't like it when you spend their money overseas. But I know John Key can do it. It'll take some serious political courage, but John, if you're ever feeling a little bit angsty, I've got some calm, supportive advice.
Get some guts!
You're welcome.